Hey guys, Magnus here bringing you another video. Today we're going to be doing my mini events ranked. So yeah, I'm going to try and pump all these videos out as quickly as possible. They might not be every day, but at the minute they've been daily, which is pretty cool. And I'll follow up with a Walking Dead character profile. I'm going to try and if I release a character profile, I'll release a tapped out video, if you know what I mean. So I want to split them up for you guys. I do apologise for them. I just kind of want to get back to my schedule, and they'll be back to once a week, so they won't fill up your sub box too much in a few weeks time. Maybe a week. I just want to get back to my schedule. But anyway, we have so we have a total of 6 mini events this year, and last year, in 2018, and I'm going to be ranking them. So let's get straight into the list with number 6. The worst event goes to Superpowers. So yeah, I just had to give it to Superpowers. I mean, there really isn't any other mini event that I think was the worst. Now, it upsets me because I really wanted them to do an annual superheroes thing. I just didn't want it to be a mini event. I wanted it to be a little minor event like we got last year. It lasts a week, or hell, it doesn't even have to take up its own time slot. It could just be within another update, and it doesn't even have to be related to that update. It can just be inserted. But unfortunately, I am putting the Superpowers update is the worst one of this year. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's completely awful with nothing good in it whatsoever. I think Hot Flash and Everyman are pretty weak characters. Hot Flash is very weak of a character, the worst character we got, possibly the worst character we got this year, just because it should be a costume and it shouldn't, and it kind of we didn't get, if they just gave us Alice Glick and then the Hot Flash costume, I don't think people would be that mad. People would be fine with that. People would be kind of happy. But they didn't do that. Everyman, I don't think is a particularly strong character. I will say the Iron Lung costume I think is really funny, and the Rambler's an okay costume as well. It's not too bad. The 2 buildings we got weren't particularly amazing. We got Odin's of Shelbyville and the Stardust Drive-In. Those particularly weren't that amazing, and we only got one decoration. That was the Radioactive Ooze Pit. So really, this event was just didn't have much to it. It really didn't. And I mean, the story was okay, I guess. It wasn't really anything to complain about, but it wasn't really anything that kind of wowed me. It was a pretty basic quest line. I think overall this event was a little crappy. So yeah. Anyway, next up, the second worst event goes to, or the second worst mini event goes to Homer versus the 18th Amendment. And I do want to say that I still love these these next 5 updates. I think they're really good. I don't really dislike them too much. The Superpowers I have a lot of issues with, but the rest is more just me choosing my favorites. So I quite like this event, really. I didn't think it was too bad. I didn't think it was amazing though. I mean, it was okay. It was much better than Superpowers. I'll give it that. It gave us characters like Howard K. Duff, Ramrod, and Meth Hook. Meth Hook and Ramrod I wasn't that bothered about. They're not massive characters. They were kind of cool, I guess. Howard K. Duff though, I think was a really solid character to add, and it made sense, and I'm not going to complain because I really like that character, and I was happy that we got him. We got buildings like the Canadian Crossing, the Gavel. No, sorry, we didn't get the auction house. That was in the episode tie-in. We got Canadian Crossing. We got Hooch City, which is the wine petrol station thing, and Papa Wheelies. I really like Papa Wheelies and Hooch City. Those are 2 pretty cool buildings. Canadian Crossing, I'm like meh. We also got the Duff Puff, the whole marijuana thing, which I know a few people weren't happy with, and they didn't like the whole marijuana storyline. Look, at the end of the day, this is a kids game. I get it, but if you're gonna do storylines on alcohol, you can do storylines on weed. I don't really like the two. Look, alcohol and weed. I don't want to get into this debate really, but I think if you have a standard where you can have characters drink at Moe's, you can have characters smoke a joint. I don't really see why those why drinking at Moe's is terrible and smoking a joint why drinking at Moe's is completely acceptable and smoking a joint is completely just not allowed because it's a children's game. If you have characters drinking at Moe's, you can have characters smoke weed. I don't see a problem with that, to be honest. So I really don't have an issue with that part of the storyline. We have the Bathtub Brewery, the Unruly Crowd, the Duff Float, St. Patrick's Day Banner, and the Circle of Death, and some really cool stuff there. And I think, yeah, it wasn't amazing. Nothing really blew me out of the park. I'm glad that they finally did something quite big for St. Patrick's Day, even though they didn't really like blatantly say it was a St. Patrick's Day update. It basically was, and they actually, they finally gave us something more for St. Patrick's Day. So I think, that gives the event some value. And I think it was pretty good. Anyway, next up goes to The Book Stops Here. So yeah, a lot of people hate this update, and I don't really understand. I think in terms of like it was actually kind of hard for me to choose between Homer versus 18th Amendment and this update, but I think I prefer this update a little bit more because it gave way more buildings. Now, it gave okay characters. I think Birch Barlow is as solid as a character as Howard K. Duff, so I was like, that's kind of where my justification came into it. I was like, both are pretty solid characters. They've appeared, neither of them have had their own episodes, really. I mean, I guess Howard the Duck, you could argue, had sort of his own episode in that one thing, but he wasn't the main focus. He was just a cat. He was like essentially the antagonist of that episode, if you will. Well, not really, but he was in the episode. Birch Barlow's appeared quite a few times as well, so I think they're both as solid as characters as each other. And then you have like Rose Quimby and Lloyd, which I think, they're just this event's meth hook and ramrod. So I was like, I'm not really blown away by them. I think having Quimby's mother's pretty cool, actually. It's a family member, so I was like, but then I think that ramrod and meth hook are pretty cool. Lloyd, don't really care about, but I don't really care too much about those two guys that came with the Papa Wheelies guys. But then buildings, I think this event really blew us away in terms of buildings. It really outdid itself. We got the Capital City Plaza Hotel, the Capital City Convention Center, the Springfield Hall of Records, the U.S. Capitol Building, the Capital City Capitol Building, and the Preppers Compound. I think, loads of cool buildings. I think the Hall of Records and the City Plaza Hotel were really awesome. Having the Capitol Building was pretty awesome too. It was, it's a little redundant that we got two Capitol buildings, but one's obviously the DC one, and one's just the Capital City one, so that's why. And I like that. I think those buildings were really cool. And then we also got the Stonecutters Tunnel and the Stonecutters Tunnel entry, which I think are just two epic epic decorations too. So I was really happy with what they did with this event. I think, in terms of buildings, it was really good. I mean, characters, it really wasn't any different to Homer versus the 18th Amendment, but in terms of buildings, I think I was really happy with this event. I think they outdid themselves. So I put this one above Homer versus the 18th Amendment, but not quite as high as the other ones. So yeah. And then number 3 goes to Thanksgiving. So, I was a little torn where to put Thanksgiving, actually, because I really didn't play it that much. Like, I literally got everything in the last day because my iPad broke. So, I really didn't have experience to read. I had to read them after because I literally didn't have time. I had like a few hours to get everything. So, I really didn't actually read half the quest lines, I'll be honest. And I caught up with a few of them, but I haven't read all the premium ones. I've read the main one, but I haven't read the premium ones. So, I can't really comment on that, but this is essentially a Thanksgiving event that focuses on Moe's family, on the Sislak family, which I think was a cool idea, and I did like that. I like the idea of adding family members, and something I'm happy for. So we got Minnie, Morty, and Marv. I'll be honest though, I don't care for any of these characters. Like they're no Howard K. Duff, and they're no Birch Barlow. I think that mainly the theme of this, like the whole idea that we're doing a Moe theme, I think that was what really saved this event and what has put it above. I think Morty is okay, and I think Marv's okay. Minnie, I guess whatever. She's on the same level really as the others. And then we got buildings. Buildings is a really redeeming factor with this one too. So we got the Mattress King Warehouse, the Bob's Big Butter, the Escape Zone, the Taste of Springfield Festival, and the Uncle Moe's Family Flea Bag. I think all of these were really, really cool buildings. We got 2 decorations, the grill patio and the Mattress King dinner table, which I'm not too bothered about, but it's fine because I think this event really kind of helped with buildings. And yeah, I really like the buildings. I think they're really cool, especially Uncle Moe's Family Flea Bag. I was a little bit mixed that they didn't give us as a skin, but kind of reconsidering it, it was a complete renovation of the building, so I'm like, screw it, it's fine. I'm not too bothered. I'm not gonna pretend that I'm mad. I just don't care. Mattress King though, I love that building. It's possibly one of my favorite buildings of this year. I think it's such a cool building, such a nice, refreshing looking building. The warehouse looks a bit crappy, but whatever. Bob's Big Butter I think was a cool building too, and the escape zone is pretty awesome too. Very bright. Taste of Springfield Festival is pretty meh, but you know what can you do? And you know I think the structure of this event, the story of this event, the whole fact that we're doing Moe's Family, I think really was the redeeming factor and what put it above the other two events below it. But it was always going to beat Superpowers, of course it was. But yeah. Anyway, let's get into number 2, which goes to Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 3. So yeah, Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 3. So this is a little controversial, I guess. I don't know if this is controversial to say, but I love Mr. Burns. I like this event a lot, right? I love this event a lot, but the pure reason I love this event is nostalgia. There really isn't any other reason. I think that like if this didn't come from such an amazing episode, and this was the stuff we were getting, this probably would be so much lower down. And I'm a little bit skeptical of whether I should have put this lower, because really looking at it, it wasn't that solid of an event. I think for the nostalgia thing though really kind of revives it, and this is the reason I put it as my number 2. So with the only character we got was Dave Sutton, right? That's the only character we got. We didn't get any other characters. I'm not counting the Crook and the Justice Agent, because that is the takedown for the previous event, so that doesn't count. The only character we got was Dave Sutton, right? Which is like, okay, he's a really solid character actually. I think, you know, again, he's on the same level as Birch Barlow and Howard K. Duff in my opinion. He's on that kind of level. Which is good, true. You know, it just means we haven't got like a secondary, like a minor character, a more minor character, like our Rose Quimby or something like that, or our Ramrod. But so we've only got one character, which I think is the reason I've put it as number 2 and not number 1. Look, I like Dave Sutton. I think he's a cool character, but he had nothing to do with the episode. He really had absolutely nothing to do with this episode, and I'm okay with them doing that. Like, if they want to do an episode that a really, you know, a classic episode like Who Shot Mr. Burns, that's fine, and they found a way to tie Dave Sutton into it. I think that's fine. I think I like that, and for my Bart vs. Thanksgiving, I've also tied in 2 characters who actually appeared in the episode. 2 characters who appeared in the episode, but they weren't particularly involved with the main story. I think you can do that, so I'm not bashing that. I'm just saying that, you know, he didn't actually appear in the episode, or at least he didn't appear like he didn't speak. And then we only got 2 buildings, and that was the Springfield Shopper, which again didn't appear in the episode. Definitely that definitely didn't appear in the episode, but that was to come with Dave Sutton, which is okay. And then we also got Ches Guevara, which appeared in part 2, which probably should have came with Tito Puente. Tito Puente is this Latin American singer who, some sort of musician who, of course, he died after the episode aired, basically. So he is a dead celebrity. I think they could have added him. I'm sure they could have found a way to add him, but they didn't, which he would have been a perfect character to add, maybe as like the free character, add him as the free, and then Dave Sutton as the premium. That would have been really cool. We also got the Springfield Elementary Crypto Farm. This is building skin, again, not really related. And then we got some pretty cool decorations. We got the scale model, I'm not too fond of that, and the chalk outline I'm not really too fond of. But the sunblocker and the sundial are just 2 really solid decorations, and I think they're amazing. Number 2, and I'm gonna say it again, I know I've kind of already said this, is purely nostalgia. I have no other reason to put this as number 2, and it's kind of I was considering to put this lower, but again, it's like I love the event. Like, in terms of like my personal opinion, I love this event. I think, if anything, but then looking at it critically, if I look at it critically as an event, it really isn't that great compared to some of the others. But hey, I'm biased, so I'm putting it here, number 2. And anyway, let's get to that number 1, so you guys probably know what it is. And I felt a little funny making it number 1, but anyway, let's have that drum roll, please. It's, of course, Poochie Dog Dayz. Yeah, like I said, I feel kind of funny making this the best mini event of the year, but really looking at it quite critically, I was like, there's no way. My heart was telling me, put Mr. Burns as number 1, Who Shot Mr. Burns as number 1, But then I look at this event and I had so much fun with it. Like, this event, in terms of like Who Shot Mr. Burns and Poochie Dog Dayz were the two mini events I had so much fun with, and I didn't think were that boring. I think elements of Homer versus 18th Amendment were boring. I thought elements of Book Stop Here was boring. I thought elements of the Thanksgiving was boring. And superpowers is superpowers. So, but with Poochie's Dog Dayz and Who Shot Mr. Burns, I loved them. I thoroughly enjoyed them. I thought I didn't really have anything bad to say about the events really when it came to my reviews. So I was like, I've kind of got to decide between these two. And I put this as number one because it's just so lighthearted. It's really cool. And yeah, it's not that nostalgic. Really, it really isn't at all. It mainly comes from the Poochie, the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie episode. It mainly comes from that, but then it also takes from different episodes too. It takes from the other Marge versus Itchy and Scratchy as well. It takes from obviously that with the disapproving squirrel. But yeah, we got characters. So we got a character like Poochie, and again, I would say Poochie, Howard K. Duff, Birch Barlow, and Dave Sutton. I would say that those four characters are on the same page. Like, they're the same kind of like level, if you know what I mean. But Poochie, I just love. He's just a cool character, and the fact it followed after Itchy and Scratchy Line, I was a little bit meh on, but it worked in the end. It wasn't that bad. It didn't backfire. It didn't feel like they had extended the event. It felt nice to have this, and it kind of kept me in the Itchy and Scratchy mood, because it was kind of I was like, oh, it was a shame to kind of like be like, oh well, we've got to say goodbye to this amazing event, but we didn't. We got essentially an extension, so I was a little effy on that, but I think overall I was happy with it. Disapproving Squirrel, I really like that character. I think it was pretty cool, because of course that is a character that was designed for the Itchy and Scratchy universe based on Marge, obviously, so it made sense that they added that to the game too. Roy was that random guy who just randomly was living with the Simpsons as like a reality TV show thing. It was just a really random gag that they threw in, and they just gave us the character in the game, which I'm okay with. I'm not really blown away with his character. And Mrs. Scratchy too, who again, I'm not really blown away with her character, but she's pretty cool. Yeah, of course it returned Itchy and Scratchy too. And then the two buildings we got were the Fireworks Factory and the Reality Channel. They were the only two buildings we got. We got quite a few decorations there. We got the audience research table. Wasn't too happy with that. I'm not bothered about that. Network's headquarters though I quite like. You know, it's a nice little van thing. The bicycle basketball ramp was pretty awesome. Poochie's car's pretty awesome. The Reality Channel van's pretty awesome too, and the picnic spot's like meh, whatever. I'm not gonna complain about it. It's okay. Yeah, I think overall, like, this event, I thought it was really lighthearted, and I really enjoyed it. And you know, I was a little effy putting this as number one, but I think this deserves number one. Poochie's Dog Dayz. I really enjoyed this event. And yeah, and Who Shot Mr. Burns is a close second, by the way, so don't worry. It's not like it's a hard second. It's a close second. But anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please tell me your top 5 mini events. Tell me what yours are. And yeah, I'll see you next video. Goodbye.